I just want to thank all of you for being here. Players, I know, obviously, and coaches, you had a reason to be here, but so did we. And, you know, from the very beginning, Coach Moglia, his staff, has said one thing. They wanted to put a team on the field that would be very proud of. And I think you have certainly done that. And I want to thank all of you. It's been amazing. I know we had some tremendous road games. It's been a wonderful season. But your hard work, coaches, your hard work has certainly paid off. And you know, yesterday we had a chance to recognize the spouses and the families of our coaches. Thank you again for what you've done to give up your time to allow your coach to do what they could do for Coastal Carolina University. About 3 years ago, almost, I don't know, might even be almost to the day in this very spot, I had the pleasure to introduce to the community Coach Joe Moglia. And again, from that very moment, in talking with Joe, as you heard in his interview, he talked about the skill sets. There was something magical about this gentleman. We knew that there were greater days ahead, not only for our football program, our athletics, but the university. And I'm just so very proud to introduce, once again, Coach Joe Moglia.
Dr. DeCenzo, thanks for believing in me. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to be here. Wyatt and Gene, thanks very much for the support of that. All of you that are here, thank you very, very much for your support. I want to re-echo what Dave just said in terms of our families. It's tough. The life of a coach is 80 hours a week and 7 days a week. You don't get a day off for 4 or 5 months. Your entire career is dependent upon what you do on Saturday. If you do a good job and move up in the profession, you got to move your family. You got to worry about education for your kids. You got to worry about where you're going to live. If things are not going so well, you're going to lose your job, then you still have the same issues with regards to your family. There's a lot of stress like that. It's very, very difficult. Very, very difficult to give everything you've got without support at home. So once again, spouses, significant others, families, kids, thank you very, very much, because I understand probably better than most the sacrifices that you make for your men. Thank you for that. To our coaching staff, I want to thank you for the type of effort that you've given us all season long. For those of you who've been with us for 3 years, our student interns, our senior intern, George Glenn, and what he does with us. The same, I want you all to understand this. It's not just the players, this idea of them, it's the coaching staff. Stand on our own 2 feet, accept responsibility for ourselves. If we don't get the job done, we are responsible for that. We are responsible for what took place yesterday. We ask you to give it everything you've got. You've always given it everything you've got. To the players, to the families of the players that were able to come in today, thank you so much for making the trip. We appreciate that. Here's the way I feel. I ask you one thing every week. I've never talked about a victory. I never talked about that. I only talked about our mission. I talked about what we're trying to do and the type of effort it takes for a real man, not some macho bullshit thing, for a real man to give it everything he's got, to be able to take the field, to be able to go into a practice, to be able to go into a meeting and think and keep his poise and understand what he needs to do and understand what his job is, understand what he needs to do to get a little bit better, understand what the mental part of the game really means, understand what it is to stand on your own 2 feet and take responsibility for yourself, and all the things we ask you to do in the field, in the meeting, in the classroom, your behavior on and off campus. You are always going to be your parent's son. You're always going to be your family's brother. You're always expected to live up to that responsibility. You are always going to represent Coastal Carolina. This is how I feel. This is how I feel. We ask you to give it everything you've got for 12 weeks. We ask you to give it everything you've got all season. You've done that. You did that for 12 weeks. And in 12 weeks, you won 11 games. You lost one by a point. And for a while, we were ranked the #1 team in the country. Our reward for that is to win our league and go to the NCAA FCS National Playoffs. We're one of the top 8 seeds. We have a bye. I am excited about that. I am excited about what you did this year. I don't care about what happened yesterday. I am proud of what you did. You finished the regular season 11-1. You won your league championship. You were in the playoffs. You won your league championship, by the way, 3 years in a row. You've been in the national rankings by weight 3 years in a row. You've been in the top 10 2 years in a row. You're in the national playoffs 3 years in a row. Now we've got a bye. We've got a little chance to rest up. You guys have had a great season. You lost yesterday. The hell with it. Put it behind you. Let's learn from it. You know what our schedule is now this week? We got an opportunity. We're going to meet today. I want to take care of all that stuff. You're not going to practice this afternoon. Tomorrow we'll get in a workout Tuesday and Wednesday. You're going to get a good break later on. We'll talk about that a little later on. We'll talk about our meeting later on. I couldn't be prouder of you guys. You put yesterday behind you. You learned from it. You have had a great, great regular season. Now you're going to get a pretty good break. And we actually have a game in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from yesterday, we got a game. Let's make sure we're ready to go for that game. Okay? You learned from what happened yesterday. You know how you felt yesterday? You ever want to feel like that again? Give it everything you got. I love you guys. I'm proud of you. Congratulations. You had a great, great, great season. Regular season.